Okay, so today is Monday, October 28th, and today I'm back. I don't know how many people were actually waiting for this, but I took a few days off of filming a What I Learned Today video for every day. Took a few days off just to reset, kind of. Today is day 101 of telling you guys what I learned that day, and kind of just like some insights, actionable advice, things that have helped me and that will hopefully help you. Okay, so today, and more than just today, over the past few days that I have not been filming, I have really resetting kind of and trying to just thinking about big things, basically. That's kind of how I'm outlining this video, big things, across a few different different types of big things. But basically, I've kind of just been trying to add some things into my life and be consistent with them and just be more, productive in general, and be more intentional with, my YouTube and, literally everything else, because I feel like I'm not intentional. I do the things, but I'm not, intentional, and it's not actually, good practice. So, that's kind of what I learned throughout this reset, and I want to talk about it through a few different types of big things. So before we get into the nitty-gritty fun stuff, something that if you have watched my videos before, you know that I like to be very logical with things, and the first thing I wanted to do is define what is a big thing. When you say this was a big moment in my life, or this is a big thing that you need to work on more specifically, what defines that, right? Because it's important to define your terms. But basically what I found is that a big deal, something that you really need to work on, or something that you need to do, or a big deal is something that has big consequences or big repercussions. So an example of this is I was actually I was registering for the SAT, which is the American standardized test, the big test that, at least one of the big tests that high schoolers have to take if they want to go to college. And I was signing up for that, and there was a little section that was what classes are you planning to take in the future, and what classes have you taken, and I was unsure about what my whole plan was for the future. But then my sister was it's fine, it's not a big deal, because this is just used so they can send you promotional stuff and that kind of thing. And I was thinking back on that when I was trying to define what is a big thing or big deal. And basically, that is a small example of showing something that it doesn't have, consequences or, major plus sides or major downsides. It's just, there. It's neutral. It doesn't have major repercussions. So it doesn't matter if I think of that thing as a big deal because it didn't have any major repercussions. So that's kind of how I defined it. Because if you think about, at least for me, what is the biggest deal? Overall, the biggest deal, the biggest thing in this life is finding out and pursuing a better knowledge of and a better status of your soul status. Your soul status. I feel like that is the biggest deal, the biggest thing that you have in life. Figuring out and trying to make better, I guess, your soul status. And when I say soul status, I mean looking eternally and looking at where you're going to go when you die, basically. And if God came down from the clouds right at this moment, where would you go? That kind of thing. That I feel like is the biggest deal in life, right? So, just to get that out there, that's how I'm defining a big deal or a big thing in life. Whether it has big, major repercussions. Because your soul status, your eternal status, that has very, very major consequences. It's where you're going to go for the rest of eternity. So, that's crazy. That's a long time. That's this life is just a vapor. It's just a little blip. So, that's how I'm defining a big deal. Something that has big consequences or big rewards or something like that. The second thing I want to talk about in regard to big things in life is about my channel. Because I was kind of able to reset over the past few days, I've kind of tried to reorganize all of my stuff on this channel, like my whole purpose for it and how my system, like how I'm going to be creating this content, how that all is going to work. But I kind of put together a little, I feel like I haven't really had a true purpose for this channel. Like, yes, I want to like talk about stuff, but that's about it. So I was trying to kind of think of like, what is my true purpose? And the way I do this is like, not only do you ask why, because that is kind of like the purpose question, but like keep asking why and keep asking like why, because this, why that, because this, why that, because this, like keep asking why. And basically what I came to the conclusion of, along with like some videos that were like, I was watching some videos about YouTube stuff, and they were like, what skills do you have? What position in society do you have? And I was like, I don't really have that. I'm going to talk more about that later. But basically, I wrote down in a note. The Apple Notes app is like my brain, basically. So I wrote down, this is what I wrote. I don't have a fancy skill. I don't have fancy quality of my videos. I don't have authority, but I have a purpose. And that purpose is to change people to a more logical, curious, get things done kind of person that helps them live productive and purposeful lives. So that's kind of like the purpose statement that I was able to come up with. Because I don't have these crazy things that a lot of people do have. Like, my content is not very high quality. It's just like me yapping and minimal editing, minimal thumbnails. But I have realized that I actually do have a purpose and I do have an ideal audience, and I know how I want to help those people. And I'm not saying that I have like authority over you guys, because I definitely don't. Like, I'm literally 15, like I'm in high school. I have very, very little authority and very little experience with in life, but I'm trying to use the little experience that I do have and learn from those experiences, and then help you guys also learn from those experiences, so we can kind of like go through this together. That's kind of the goal. That's the purpose. And that's why I'm posting every day. That's why I'm posting like what I learned today every single day, because I'm trying to pull stuff like not only for me to like help improve my life, but also to help you guys and to ultimately help you live productive and purposeful lives. I mentioned more logical and curious lives. So if you've watched my previous What I Learned Today videos, you know that I love being logical. Like, I feel like being logical is like a very underrated skill that everyone needs. Like, common sense is just kind of non-existent sometimes within this world. So I think being logical and just using basic logical like systems can be really helpful. Like defining your terms. I talked about that just a second ago. Or like breaking down like what are the different characteristics or what are the different parts to this thing. Thinking about like I talked about just a second ago, keep thinking about why, and keep asking, why is this, why is that, why is this, and keep breaking it down until you get to the deepest purpose. I just think that being logical and thinking in a more cause and effect way and thinking in a more objective way can be very useful, because at least for me, I'm a very objective, like step 1, 2, 3 kind of person, and because I have that, and some people might not have that, I want to transfer that over to you guys. I hope that makes sense. Curious. This is also another aspect that I try to define myself as, being curious, and just being knowledgeable in many mediums and through many like topics. I think being curious is also, it's similar to being logical. Like when you know things and when you're like interested in things and you are like, you love learning. Ultimately, curiousness comes down to loving learning and wanting to learn. And I think wanting to learn and having the skill of learning effectively is also a very important skill in life, because you can know more things quicker, which ultimately helps you do things quicker. And also it's just interesting. Like, life is interesting, and that's kind of just what some of my videos are about. Like, just talking about like life stuff. So kind of just being curious about life, trying to learn about life, be logical about it, and yeah, I guess just learn about life. That's kind of my purpose, learn about life. And use those learnings to be productive and do what you need to get done, because there's more to life than just learning, and there's more to life than just like being curious or logical or whatever. there are things we have to get done. Like, we are students, we are employees, we are people who function in the society. So we need to still get things done. So that's kind of that's the goal. I want to help you guys learn about life, and about my life and about your life, and pull learnings from that so that you can get what you need to get done as your function in society. But also, I think when you are curious about life, it gets you deeper into like life purpose stuff. And for me, my life purpose is to glorify God and to live for Him, basically. And hopefully, if you stick around, then hopefully I can kind of help you guys, and you guys can help me, and we can work together to kind of figure this out. Because I definitely don't have, like I said, I don't have authority, basically. I'm kind of just learning and sharing those learnings. So that was kind of just a little explanation of what this channel is about. And how I want to help you guys and how you guys can help me. Ultimately, it's just about being curious about life, learning a lot, and trying to use those learnings. So, little side note, actually it's not that little, but I want to, through this new season, I'm going to call these like every 100 days that I make a What I Learned Today video, I'm going to have one season. So I'll actually have the playlist. If you haven't watched the previous 100 days of What I Learned Today, then I'll have the playlist linked down below as well as at the end of the video. But yeah, that was season 1, but now we're in season 2. And within season 2, I really want to make my videos better. More on like the thumbnail title side, especially thumbnails, because I know that a lot of you guys like are here because I post every day and are able to like check every day, be like, oh, Joy posted or whatever. But I still want to I feel like the quality of my videos can be improved massively, and I still want to be able to provide good content for you guys through like the titles, thumbnails, talking, like trying not to say like so much. So yeah, I'm going to try to just make these videos better for you guys. I don't want to just stay stagnant. Like I said, like we're always learning and we're always trying to improve and we're always trying to apply those learnings. And I feel like I have learned a lot from the past 100 days of talking on YouTube, and I want to actually apply some more of those learnings that I have learned from like the more YouTube growth side. So yeah, the videos are hopefully going to get way better. I would appreciate feedback if you found like, oh, this title was actually a lot better, or oh, this thumbnail was better, or oh, this video like was a lot better than all of your others. I would really appreciate that feedback because I'm trying to get better, right? I'm trying to learn, trying to get better. And yeah, so hopefully these videos are going to get a lot better. Okay, so those are the first two things about big things. The first one was just defining what is a big deal, like what is a big thing. And the second thing was like my big thing for this channel. So now, this is the main thing. This next big thing is a big change. And this is very similar to things that I've talked about before, but it's kind of changed my mindset about all of this self-improvement stuff, and it's kind of helped me to encapsulate it in one idea. Encapsulate all this self-improvement stuff into one idea to just like have one thing to define like having a big change in your life. So this next thing is about having a big change in your life, kind of just like self-improvement, get your life together kind of thing. I have found over the past 3 days, I have found a system, I guess. I haven't fully fleshed it out, but I have found a mindset that you can think of for kind of boiling all of that self-improvement stuff down. I'm yapping. Basically, what I found is that when I think of improving myself, I have recently just been thinking, instead of like, I need to become this, I need to become that, I need to do these things, I have just been thinking, I need to be that person. And when I say be that person is different for everyone. So for me, that person, that version of me, like I want to be that person, the person that works really hard, the person that says they're going to do something and actually does it, the person that everyone loves to be around, the person that is very loving and very kind and puts others before themselves, the person that is cool, like the person that is very knowledgeable in things and is able to hold a conversation, the person that has good like communication skills, I feel like those are very common characteristics that will be in everyone's like person, that person. So yeah, that's just a mindset that I have been integrating into my daily life, of just being like, be that person. Instead of trying to become that person, just be that person. Because when I think become that person, I think about all the things I need to add, all the things I need to remove, all the things I need to maintain, like all that. And I've talked about that in previous videos. But now I'm kind of just thinking, I am that person now, and I just need to live like that person. Because when you think about like, another way to say it is the 2.0 version of you, when you think about that, you are that person. Like, that is the same person. They just have different characteristics and different actions. So if you just realize that I am that person, I just need to do what that person does. It's the whole identity thing that Atomic Habits talks about. Literally, the Atomic Habits is literally the Bible of self-improvement. But anyways, actually, that's not true. The Bible is the Bible of self-improvement. That was big brain. Anyways, basically, you need to define what that person looks like for you. When you think, I want to be her, I want to be him, that's another way to say it. You know, when people are like, he's him, what does him look like for you? What does her look like for you? Like, what does that person look like for you? You need to define that. And I haven't like specifically defined it. I kind of just have an idea of what I want that person to be like, and I'm just trying to live like that person. First of all, this is just a side point. I'm going to make a super epic, really good Notion template. Separate side note, I'm going to start making Notion templates like weekly and pumping them out for you guys because, first of all, I love making Notion templates, and Notion is like my home, my digital home. But also, like, I feel like as a companion to these videos, I feel like these videos are very Notion templateable, and I want to help you guys with that. So that's a side note. I will be making a Notion template for this and just Notion templates in general. But what is that person? What does that person look like? For me, I literally found this out when I was in the shower thinking. When I think about that person, that, T-H-A-T, that is my acronym for thinking about what I want that person to look like. Trusting, and more as in like trusting in God, having faith, but trusting. Helpful, as in like helpful to other people and loving to other people. And also just like helpful conversations, like saying things that are relevant. And then action taker. Trusting, helpful, action taker. T-H-A-T, that person. For me, that's kind of the acronym that has been helping me figure out like trying to be that person. Trusting, helpful, action taker. So, trusting as in trusting in God and having faith and just being Christ-like in that sense. That kind of envelops the whole trusting thing. Being helpful, more like being helpful and loving and putting others before yourself, putting others before myself, and just having like relevant conversations and saying relevant things, saying helpful things. Like this channel, I feel like I try to make this channel helpful to you guys. Try to make it relevant, try to make it easily understandable, and try to have good information, be helpful. And then action taker, like that is I believe the AT part should be action taker for everyone, because taking action is like the most important thing you can do in life. Like that is life is taking action. Living, like the verb, it's like an action verb. You're taking action. So trusting, helpful, action taker, that is what that person looks like for me. I've also like written down like certain characteristics that, like for me, I want that person to look like. And I feel like these are very general, something that most people have, like being confident, having good style, being a good friend, and like being someone that people can rely on, being like a shoulder to rely on, being jacked and like healthy, and being like buff, being happy. Like when I envision this person that I want to be, I'm always like in my mind, the person is smiling. So like I want to be that person. So that's kind of this big change, this big mindset shift that has helped me with like encompass all of self-improvement, because this covers like, if you just think about the identity that you want to be and be that identity, don't become the identity, be the identity, then you will essentially like fix all your problems. Now obviously it's easier said than done, but that's the goal, right? The whole idea of self-improvement is not to become someone else. It's not to become what someone else is telling you to become, but to become who you want to be, and who, like, what do you value in life, and what do you feel you need to improve. And that's different for everyone. That's why everyone has a different him. Everyone has a different her. Everyone has a different that person. I hope you understand what I'm saying, because this has been really helpful for me, and if I'm not articulating it well, then like it won't be helpful for you guys. But I think I'm making sense. Another learning that I had in the past few days is something that has helped with the more action taker part. Recently, I've just learning so much about having more intention and dedication and focus, and just like taking action on the things that I want to take action on. Like working out, like I want to be fully intentional with my working out and with like the reps that I do. And I want to be fully dedicated and intentional and focused. Be dedicated, like be consistent. And then like with my YouTube, like I want to be dedicated, consistent, and focused. Like I want to make these videos really good, and I want to be like consistent with them, and I want to be focused when I'm like working on these videos, right? I've just been thinking a lot about like being really dedicated and focused. I've just been thinking about that a lot lately. And this is more on like the action taker side of that person, right? One day I was outside working on my softball skills, and I was just feeling very like, the only term I can use to describe it is like fired up. I was fired up, and I literally opened a note. Like I said, Apple Notes is my brain. Notion is like my organized brain, but Apple Notes is like my brain dump. Maybe I'll make a video about that. Anyways, I opened Notes, and I literally wrote, I have a screenshot it in my Notion, and it says, there is no excuse. Focus. Wake up at 5 a.m. Focus. Finish school by lunch. Focus. I don't have money, status, connections, but the one thing I do have is time. Don't waste it. You have no excuse. You don't have to work retail. Build a business. Make your own money. Don't let people pay you the money they make. And then I wrote, I'm fired up right now. Now, not how. Don't think, just do. Let me explain this, because that was kind of a lot. There is no excuse. That's kind of the main thing that I want to say. There is no excuse, at least for me. Like I said, I don't have money, status, connections. I don't really have anything. I'm literally just a high schooler who's talking on an iPhone camera. But I literally have no excuse. The one thing that I do have that a lot of people don't have is time. Like, my sister, who's like 2 years older than me, she doesn't really have that much time. My dad, who's like working all day, he doesn't have that much time. But like literally, out of like all the people in my family, I have so much time. And that's because I'm the youngest, right? I'm in high school. I'm 15, right? So I have so much time, and yet I use that time scrolling, and I use that time like watching YouTube, I say I'm productive because I'm watching like self-improvement videos, or I'm watching like YouTube growth videos, but really it's all saying stuff that I already know, right? And I'm just wasting that time. The one resource that I do have, I'm wasting it all away. So if you're like me, if you are in high school, if you're a student and you have time, then don't waste it, bro. Because, like, that's the one thing we do have. And, like, if that's the one thing we do have, then we might as well use it as much as we can, right? So, I want to break down some of the things I said. Wake up at 5 a.m. This is a far off goal. I feel like, for me, that person, the person that I want to be, wakes up at 5 a.m. Right now, I'm waking up at 6 a.m., so I'm slowly working my way back. But wake up at 5 a.m. is, like, one of the things that I feel like that person does. Finish school by lunch. I'm homeschooled, so that just makes my time capacity even more than most normal high schoolers, because I'm homeschooled. I do school at home, and I can kind of, like, I can do it at my own pace, and, like, if I'm focused enough, I could just get it done. So, if I woke up at 5 and I was really focused, then I could definitely finish all my school by lunch. And that's kind of the goal. Because right now, high-key, school is not my highest priority in life. Like, obviously I want to get good grades and I'm like maintaining that, but it's not like something that I'm super like into right now, at least. You don't have to work retail. This is kind of a goal of mine because I feel like most high schoolers, right, they work at like retail or like food, like they work at Starbucks or Chick-fil-A or Publix or like whatever. I don't really want to do that because maybe it's just because I've watched so many like business self-improvement videos and they're all conditioned me to be like, don't trade your time for money, that kind of thing. But like, I don't really want to do that. Like, it would be, I think eventually I might have to because like I need to live life at some point and have like life experiences. But basically I just want to build a business. I want to build my own stuff. I like doing things by myself. I like doing things by myself and figuring things out by myself. And if I figured out like how to make money online or whatever, like by myself, that's kind of the goal. So that's why I wrote that down. Yeah, now not how, don't think, just do. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you have no excuse. Be an action taker. You have so much time, if you're like me at least, and you're like a student in like high school or whatever, you have so much time, and if you have these ambitions, I'm assuming if you're watching these kinds of videos, then you probably want to build a business or start a YouTube channel or like do something like that. Literally, don't think, just do. That's something that I've been living by over the past week or so. Don't think, just do. Just like do it. Like, it's better to start and learn from that starting than to sit there like procrastinating on it. This is such basic, like normal, like action taker focused productivity stuff, but there's a reason why it's basic. Like, it's important, valuable information. Don't think, just do. Start that thing. Use your time wisely. Something that I wrote here: be real with yourself. You're not where you want to be, and scrolling isn't going to get you any closer. So do what you need to do. Let me say that again. You're not where you want to be, and scrolling isn't going to get you any closer. So do what you need to do. Literally, we have so much time, and we're not using it wisely. So the obvious thing to do is to use that time wisely, building what we want to build, working on what we want to work on, studying what we need to study on. Maybe you don't have something to work on, or you don't have a business to build, or you don't have a YouTube channel you want to create. Literally, just use your time to study rather than staying up past midnight studying for a test that you should have studied before, but you were scrolling. I hope you get what I'm saying. So yeah, that's kind of what I've learned today and over the past few days. Some big changes that I want to make in my life and that I think people need to make in theirs. Things that have big consequences / rewards. Because let's go back, let's kind of recap, right? If my channel mission is to help people live productive and purposeful lives, right? I want people to learn and use those learnings and live purposefully. The consequences of that, if you stretch this out in the long term and you don't actually change, or if you don't get those things, and I feel like those are some pretty big consequences. Like, you would live a purposeless life, and living a purposeless life is kind of the worst thing I feel like can happen. So you need to find your purpose. In my situation, and what I'm going to try to tell you guys is that your purpose should be in Christ. And if you are living a super unproductive life and you're not getting anything done and there's no purpose to that, then I feel like that's a pretty large consequence. You can kind of see where I'm going here. Yeah. And then if we think about like trying to be that person, it's kind of the same thing. If you never become that person, if you never be that person for you, then you're just going to stay where you are, and staying stagnant and not having any motion, not having any movement in your life, not having any change in your life is it's because you're not doing anything, you're not maintaining, because maintenance requires work. When you don't do anything and you're stagnant in life, you're actually declining. Like, when you don't work out, your muscles get smaller, basically. Like, they decline and they lose their strength. It's not like they're just staying the same. They lose their strength when you don't do anything. So if you're not doing anything in your life and you're not trying to be that person, then you're actually declining in life, which is worse than maintenance, right? Because maintenance requires work. But then if we look at the rewards, right? If we do achieve this productive, purposeful life, then, like, for me, I feel like I have found my purpose and I'm relatively productive and I am a happy gal. Like, purpose allows you to do everything, like, with happiness and with purpose, and it just improves everything. And living productively, like, when you're getting things done and you're improving the things you want to improve on and you're, like, doing the things you want to do, that just, like, not only makes your purpose, like, bigger, like, it widens your purpose circle, but also it's just, like, good for you. Like, you're improving your life and you're improving yourself. Yeah. So, it's been 30 minutes. That's what I've been learning over the past few days. I think this is very important for everyone to understand and to know, because staying stagnant and not having any movement is actually declining you, and you need to break out of that. So that is my goal for this channel. I want to help people break out of that and live more productive and purposeful lives, and be more logical and curious, and just trying to share my learnings, and we can, like, learn together and figure out life together. That's kind of the goal of this channel. So yeah, you have no excuses. Even if you don't have time, if you're, like, older and you, like, have an actual job and you don't actually have time in your life, I don't know, because I'm not there, but I'm sure there are other resources that you have that, like, maybe I don't have. Like, I don't really have money, but you probably have money, so you can utilize that to do what you need to do. I hope this is making sense. Basically, if you take away anything from this video, let it be that you don't stay stagnant. Don't not do anything. You need some movement and you need some change and variety in your life if you want to live a purposeful, productive life, which is ultimately kind of what life is. Productive because we're doing things. Like, life is an action. And when we're productive, we're living. We're, like, doing those actions. And purposeful is, like, what allows us, is the fuel for those actions. Because if we have no purpose in life, then we don't want to live life and we don't want to do those actions. So, if you take away one thing from this video, make a change. It doesn't have to be through me. It can be through some outside source that's not me. But if you take away one thing, make a change and try to improve yourself every day to live a more productive and purposeful life. You have no excuses. Become that person. When you envision your 2.0 version of you, when you envision him, when you envision her, be that person. So, thank you so much for watching. I know this was a longer one. You're a real one if you stayed, because I think this is a very important video. And if you also thought this was important, then please share it with others, because I think this is like I said, it's very important to live productive and purposeful lives. So share this with someone that you think might need it. Yeah, I'll be praying for you guys. Like, genuinely, I feel like this is so important. And because I'm a Christian, and because I'm trying to glorify God with everything, and because I'm trying to spread that throughout you guys, and because like I said, I feel like this is very important, I will be praying for you guys, and I hope that this video reaches out to a lot of people, because I feel like it's very important. I'm posting every single day, talking about what I learned that day, and how I'm trying to implement it into my life, and how you guys can implement it into yours. So if you want to see daily insights, then definitely subscribe. If you want to see a video that, like, YouTube has specifically recommended for you, then that's going to be right there. And if you want to binge season 1 of What I Learned Today, videos 1 through 100, then that's going to be in this corner. Subscribe if you want to see tomorrow's video. And if you subscribe, then I will see you tomorrow. Peace out, brother.